There are so many golfers that I run into who can't practice for 30 hours a week, but they want to be a better golfer and they can only practice for an hour or two every week. So it is very important that in that 1 or 2 hours a week that we spend practicing golf, that you show up to the range with a plan. Now, if you find yourself showing up to the range and not really knowing how to improve your golf or exactly what facets of the game to work on, then the Core Golf app is going to be a great resource for you. I have seen all kinds of apps, all different kinds of drills, and the Core Golf app is the absolute best at providing a custom training plan with great drills that are tailored towards your game. So let me take you into one of my practice sessions that I did last week using the Core Golf app to guide me in what areas of my game to focus on and what drills I can do to become better in those areas. So when you create an account in the Core Golf app for the first time, it's going to ask you several questions. And based on your answers to those questions, it's going to recommend particular drills and aspects of your game to focus on. So as you can see here, the first drill that I'll be doing is an around the world drill with the putter. In this video, I'm going to be going over 3 different putter drills, 2 driver drills, and 1 short game drill, all of which I really enjoyed doing. So this around the world drill, I'm just going to show abbreviated versions of all of these, but you put a ball in 6 directions all around the hole. So you're working on short, very makeable putts, but you're also seeing it from all different kinds of angles. So this was a really effective drill for me to really dial in my downhill left to righters, my uphill right to lefters. In this video, in these clips, I only make 2 of these putts. So that is not good in the terms of how many I'm making. You want to be making more from this range. However, in this app, everything is trackable. I'm going to enter in my stats for this entire practice session, and then the app is going to continue to tailor more recommendations for me. So if I went out and made all of my short putts and then I really did well in the other putting drills, it's probably not going to have me do as much putting. However, because I really didn't perform very well in this short putting drill, I know that I need to work on it more, and the app is going to recognize that and recommend more drills for me to do. Now that we've done a little bit of work and entered our progress on the short putts, let's work a little bit on distance control. And what the Core Golf app gave me here is a leapfrog drill. I will note that with all of these drills, anything that you're doing in relation to the Core Golf app, they are going to offer you videos and other explanation in the text of the video. So if there's any drill that comes on your screen and you're not really sure how to perform it or what the benefits to your game are, click on the video. They're very short videos, they're well produced, and that's going to help you not only understand how to execute the drill and get the most out of it, but also understand what it's working on in your game. So this leapfrog drill is one of my favorites. I was so happy to see this recommended. Basically, you just hit a golf ball out there. I believe in the app it said 6 feet, and then you just want your next ball to be as close but past that ball as possible. This is going to work on all aspects of your distance control. It's going to work on those short putts and getting the proper distance on them. It's also going to work on really getting your lag putt distance dialed in. So this is a great drill for anyone to do if you're maybe 3-putting a little bit too much around the greens, or if on your 5-footers you find yourself leaving your 5-footers short, which is such a maddening feeling. Or if you have your 10-footers and you're hitting it 5 feet past and then you're giving yourself a tricky putt in. If you have any real issues on the greens with your distance control, I can think of few better drills than this one. Now we are going to wrap up the leapfrog portion of this training session by entering in our score, saving that score. All those analytics are going to help us really evaluate our practice and hone in on how we can most efficiently become a better golfer. Now we're going to go on to the final drill in this putting section of the video, which is a gate drill essentially. They call it a sweet spot drill. It's one of the most effective all-around putting drills. You put a tee on either side and then you just stroke the ball, and it's going to help you ensure center contact. It's also what a lot of people overlook is by having 2 tees on either side of the ball, not only are you going to make center contact on the putter, but your putter stroke is going to hopefully be a lot more ideal. If you really wipe across the ball and you're coming from out to in with that putter, you're likely to hit that inside tee peg. And conversely, if you're a little bit hooky with the putter and you're coming too far into out, the edge of your putter, the toe of the putter may hit that outside tee peg. So this is a great drill. I'm doing it from 10 feet, and this is an area that that I'm always happy to practice on in terms of my putting, because 10 footers, I've been lacking some confidence in my 10 footers. So by not only getting in my reps, but also getting in my reps with the tee gate drill, which is going to provide some visual feedback, it's a really great way to dial in the quality of putting stroke. Because at the end of the day, even if you're reading your putts well, if you're not putting a good stroke on the ball, if you're not matching that read with your pace, it's just not going to work out in terms of sinking putts. So those 3 drills that I've done on the putting greens have really helped me already, just becoming more comfortable over the ball during my rounds. So as we wrap up the sweet spot drill with the putter, that completes the putting section of this practice session. We're going on to 50-yard shots, which I'm choosing a target, and I'm estimating how many balls I can get within 12 feet. Now, I'm on the range here, so it's a little bit more difficult to evaluate 12-footers, so I was pretty harsh with myself. Unless it was pretty close and I could ensure it was within 12 feet, I wasn't really going to count it. Just getting in reps from 50 yards is really helpful for me. So what I did, if you don't have a 50-yard mini hole that you can practice at, I just found a flag that was exactly 50 yards out on my driving range. That was helpful. If not, you can find a particular patch of grass or really any indication that something is 50 yards out, and that'll work just fine. So for me, on these 50-yard shots, what I'm really focused on is my upper body acceleration through the ball. I don't want to get too wristy. I really don't want to get fancy. I just have a 56, and for me, I want to feel it halfway between my shoulder height and my belt height. That's what I'm feeling. It's probably a little bit different. It's much closer to my shoulder, but that's just the swing feel that I have. So getting these reps in from 50 yards on the CoreGolf app was very helpful for me, just to get more familiar over it. So next time I'm at 50 yards out on the golf course, hopefully into a par 5, get up and down for a little birdie, I can just look back on this practice and say, here's my swing feel, here's what we can do. And throughout this, I actually performed very well. I hit 20 shots, and 14 of them were within 12 feet, which is about above average of what I would normally do. I'm usually not that dialed in from 50 yards, but I was happy to see this. And again, I'm continuing to enter my scores in all of these sessions so that I can look back on my progress and evaluate what I'm doing and what I need to be working on. Now over to the driver. We're going to be working on a little bit of slice control with just a very simple swing feel. And this is one aspect of the CoreGolf app that I love, is that it's not just a bunch of drills to dial in practice. You have some parts of this where it's just, hey, here's a swing feel that you might want to consider, work on it and dial it in. And for me, this is a very simple swing feel that they recommended. It's just having that club face point to the ground. And I'm certainly exaggerating it, because whenever you're working on a swing feel, you want to really overcompensate on it just to make sure that it's being implemented into your golf swing. This has been a huge help for me. I cannot say how much good this has done. I've always been a pretty consistent fader of the golf ball off the tee, but now I can hit a much straighter flight, and I can actually put a little bit of baby draw with this swing feel. And the benefit of that is obviously I'm picking up like 20 yards on some of my drives just by having this the club face feel a little bit more shut in my takeaway position. Now, one thing that I do want to note is we've seen putting, we saw some short game drills, and we're skipping over to driver. You may be wondering why I'm not doing anything with my iron play, and that's because in that survey that I said you do at the beginning of downloading the app, I expressed that I'm a pretty confident iron player. Irons are by far the best part of my game, so I'm sure as I continue to work through the CoreGolf app, I'm going to be practicing irons at some point, but right now that's really not the priority. That's not what's holding me back in the game of golf. And now finally, we're going to be working on our driver control by imagining a 30-yard fairway, hitting a bunch of shots out there, and seeing how many we land in the fairway. I think visualization is an incredibly important part of any practice session, because when you're looking at a driving range, it's just wide open green. You can't really go out of bounds on a driving range. So having a direct visual, I chose 2 flags that were about 28, 30 yards apart, and I was just trying to get my alignment dialed in and still working on the swing feel that I got from the last drill. So that was helpful because, as I said earlier, I'm a fader of the golf ball. I don't hit a ton of straight or even slight draws off the tee. So being able to work on that ball flight with an exact target in mind was very helpful for me. And as always, I'm going to be entering in a score for this last leg of the practice session and enter it into the CoreGolf app. I'm super excited to see how the analytics of this app tell me how my practice is improving or where I need to be putting my efforts. I'm super excited to see my progress within the CoreGolf app. I have really enjoyed using the Core Golf app recently. It's been an imperative help in my own practice, and I know that that is going to help a lot of you watching. If you want to learn more about the Core Golf app, its capabilities, and the pricing behind it, you can click the top link in the description, which will take you to a web page with some more information. You can also just go in the app store that your phone is connected to and look up Core Golf, and it will be the first that pops up. Again, I'm really looking forward to creating some more content in partnership with Core Golf coming down the pipeline. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.